through a true crime podcast over here.
Probably,
Gonna make all the ladies go nuts, like the serial killer podcast. Like, I'm not sure. They all love it.
Casino trip, full of chips. Wanna flip, double it.
Welcome to the Full of Chips podcast, the only chips you'll never lose, where the stakes are high, the takes are bold, and the conversations are always full of chips. With your hosts, Chris, the Dice Degen, and Craig from Old Bay Craps. You're tuned in to Full of Chips, the podcast where we dive into our own experiences into the world of gambling and share stories straight from the casino floor. Whether you're a recreational gambler, a seasoned pro, or just curious what the buzz is all about, you're in the right place. Each week, we break down the games, talk to the experts, and bring you tips that could tilt the odds in your favor. So grab your lucky charm, stack your chips, and let's roll into today's episode.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 49 of the Full of Chips podcast, the only chips you will never lose, with your hosts, Chris the Dice Degen and Craig from Old Bay Craps. Craig, how are we today?
So last episode we said we were stressed, right? We were saying that the indicator in the FOC whiskey glass was an indicator of what the hell is going on, and I cannot tell you that, or I can tell you because I am telling you, but yesterday, which was a Tuesday, was one of the most chaotic days in all the history of this house. We had plumbing repair. We had kind of like 1-800-GOT-JUNK removal stuff. We had like an inspector come over. My mother was over here. When the plumbers left, there's now a hole in my ceiling that I need to get a drywall person for because they don't do any drywall. So the drinking's continuing from last week into this week. And thank you, Sweet Lou, for the whiskey glasses. These are the lovely FOC. And by the way, I'm holding it up because Chris knows we've switched the bourbon. We've switched the bourbon because we have to try out everything. You know, it's like a diverse portfolio from what a friend told me one time. And my friend recommended Elijah Craig with a little bit of Diet Coke.
There you go. What are our initial thoughts of the Elijah Craig with a little bit of Diet Coke?
Is it okay if I say it's sweeter?
It is. Yeah, compared to Bullet, probably yes, a little sweeter.
A little sweeter, but still hits the spot. Yeah.
There you go.
Still hits the spot.
It's very important to have a diversified whiskey portfolio. Very important.
You know, I 100% agree. It is very important to diversify your tastes and your wants. And the fact that I could officially say I'm not an alcoholic. I only have one drink a week, and it's worth it for the podcast. However, my wife would say, well, you had 2 beers Sunday, and we went out to dinner last night, and you had 2 glasses of wine, so you're officially an alcoholic. I was like, oh, okay, thanks.
You know what's funny? So I was like at work, we have this thing where like you fill out your health stuff or whatever, like on this like online portal. And like if you complete different things, like you can get gift cards basically. So it's like a incentive to fill out. Yeah, exactly. Right. So now one of the gift cards is Amazon, right? And Amazon Prime days are going on. So I was like, well, shit, I got to do my annual, filling out the stuff so I get my gift cards that I can spend. And what better time to spend it than during Amazon Prime days?
There you go.
Anyway, I'm doing the health check, and one of the questions on there was about how many alcoholic beverages do you have in a week? And my standard answer for that is 0 because I don't really drink that much. And like, I can't say it's, I have 1 per week or 2 per week because, I may have one week and I may have none for like a month. Like it depends, right? Then I'm sitting there and I answer the question and I go to the next thing and I'm like, wait, shit. We record at least once a week. I'm drinking at least a double when we're recording. So DJ has to be honest on this health assessment and go back and change it because I was like, I don't have anything. Wait, yes I do.
But even at a physical or like when you go to the primary, one of the questions is always about the alcohol, but it's usually like, how many drinks do you have per day? Yeah. And I'm like, well, if you average this out per day, I have like 0.07% of 1%.
Yeah.
A day. Unless it's a
exactly.
Saturday.
That's what it is. And I'm like, I went on that one. It was like, how many you have per day or per week? And I was like, all right, well, a week is like I can say 1 or 2, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you ask me per day, it's 0. Because what am I gonna say? Yeah, I have 1/4 of a glass per day. The doctor's gonna look at me and be like, do you actually have 1/4 of a glass per day? I'm like, no, I have 1, maybe 2 per week. If we're gonna be mathletes here, we'll average it out,
Right.
and we get like 1/4. No, I don't
Now I
care.
have to
But
now I have to officially say I average about 1 bottle of bullet per month.
there you go. Yes, 1 bottle of bullet per month. Well, Craig, since I knew that you were doing Elijah Craig, I also have Elijah Craig tonight
Oh,
in
hell
the Full of
yeah.
Chips glass.
Boom boom,
So,
bang bang.
Elijah Craig with a little bit of Diet Coke for me as well. Because since I knew you were having it, I was like, well, I can't let you drink it alone, and I had it, so that's what I have tonight too.
Is this the first official FOC same drink?
I think so. I think so.
You know, while I purchased it and I was on the way home thinking about drinking it tonight, um, it occurred to me that last episode we invited people for possible Patreon. And I was kind of thinking of maybe we need a name like, so we have FOC for Full of Chips. We have the FOC FOS award, right? Full of shit. Maybe the Patreon needs to be FOP, full of patrons. Just saying.
There you go. The FOC FOP.
FOC FOP.
Not to get confused with the Fraternal Order of Police.
Correct. Which we know a lot and in the AC crew who are killing it this week
Yeah,
at the 10 times tier multiplier without Mr. Said Degen or OBC. Unfortunately, we could not be there
correct.
this week. In
Yes,
fact,
it
one
is.
of our brethren, Mr. Sweet Lou, hit back to back or just hit it twice.
Hit it twice in the same day.
Hit the
Yeah.
ATS twice in the same day.
Yeah,
Damn,
no,
Chris.
props to the crew. They're killing. They've been catching pieces left and right.
Yeah.
Because I've been following the group and stuff, and yeah, definitely
Love it.
unfortunate that we can't be there, but hopefully, they're having a good time and the roles continue for them. I
Definitely.
was supposed to be down there, but you know why I'm not down there. Handful of
Yep.
people in the AC crew know why I'm not down there.
And you know why I'm not
But
down there, and you're the only person
yeah,
because I was. Maybe one other. I don't.
yeah, yeah. No, I know why you're not down there. I only told a couple people why I'm not down there. DJ's got some life shit going on, some family stuff. So
Life shit.
I'm life shit is right. Yeah, I'm not down there, unfortunately. But hoping that they're having continued good roles and keep it going through the rest of the weekend for them. And I want to see some good color ups coming in that group chat.
Definitely. I know some people are like, oh, chip porn, blah blah blah. And they're like, no, I want to see the chip porn actually, since I'm not there.
There you go. You need
Like
to live
more pics,
vicariously
more
through it.
pics. Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw one pic. We saw one pic from one of the ATS hits. There was
There you
like a
go.
very nice color up for a few. So
I bet.
when your stack of
It sounded like
greens
there were some
matches
good
your
rolls.
stack of when your stack of greens matches your stack of blacks, that's a good day.
That's a good day for sure. Yeah, that's you just stack those greens and those blacks as high as possible. Maybe throw some reds in there and or not reds, some purples in there, and
The best is when you can have a session like that where you've made so much that your reds and whites automatically become dealer tips.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yep, that's what we want.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what the dealers want too, for that matter. But yeah, no,
Sure.
reds and whites right to the dealers. Give me the rest.
And we know some people who also put up dealer bets for the bonuses too. So,
Oh yeah,
AC crew is not
I'm sure the dealers are doing well.
yeah. We take care of them, they take care of us, and it works both ways. But you know what? Because we're not there, if we were there, we would definitely see the regulars running the room.
But yeah,
And we're not just talking about our crew. We're actually talking about the regulars you see at your local, or just some of the people that you see. What did Lou and Clay this week call them? The young people at the table who were just amateur hour, they call it,
I
right?
think something like that. It might have been something like amateur hour. Yeah,
No manners, no etiquette.
we don't want to see that at the table. We do not want to see that at the table.
But we've seen some characters at the table, definitely.
Oh yeah,
There's definitely people that we think probably live at the casino, and yeah, this segment goes out to them.
goes out to them. So Craig, when you see the regulars, do you group them all together? Do you have like maybe a few different stereotypes for the regulars, or how do you view the regulars at the casino?
I view them the latter way, the archetypes that you see,
Okay.
because you can always put them into their own category. I don't necessarily
Yep.
group uh, a bunch of shooters into the same category. Usually, each one has a person. It's almost like playing Clue, where you have the professor and you know Mr. Colonel Mustard and Mrs. White and stuff like that. So
Yep.
my first one that I'm gonna group these types of people into is they're the mayor of Crapstown. Um, uh, he doesn't work there, but he might as well. He's there that often. He knows every dealer's name, their kids' names, every pit boss's favorite bourbon, and every shooter's lucky number. He's the unofficial concierge of the felt. Um, definitely somebody who should probably run for office after their sessions.
Yep.
But we've all seen those, man. We've definitely seen those types of people on the felt. Um, you're always going to have the statisticians, and I would group Jen into that group, right? They're the ones that show up with the notebook, the pen, the
Mm-hmm.
energy of someone who has strong opinions about variance, strong opinions about the way they play. They're tracking roles like they're decoding the Zodiac killer. Now, Chris, I know that you're a young man and you're not fully aware of maybe the serial killer genre of a person, but it was very prolific in the 70s and 80s, high profile serial killers. Some of the biggest names you probably have heard of all started doing their business in the early 70s and into the 80s. But that's for another podcast. Uh, but
To a true
I would
crime podcast over here.
probably,
Gonna make
a
all the
true.
ladies go nuts, like the serial killer podcast. Like, I'm not sure. They all love it.
They do. But you definitely have to throw Jen into the statistician person because if she doesn't have a notebook at the table, something's wrong with her, right?
Yep.
Like she's having an off day
Yeah.
and she doesn't just write down her own roles. She writes down every shooter's role. Isn't that? I mean, that's something, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and strangers will come up to her and like, hey, were you writing down the roles? Can you tell me what I did here? And she's got it all listed out, per person, how many rolls, what their role was, whether it was a hard four, like she's very unique and on point. Um,
Yep.
I'm sure you've seen this next one. I'm sure you've seen the philosopher. Uh, the the person that says things like, "The dice know your soul." And like, dude, the dice don't know shit. They don't have a
Yep.
memory. They don't know what was happening yesterday on the table. They don't even know what was happening last session. Uh, they think the universe is always looking to balance itself, and it's like no, they're not. They're not trying to balance themselves. They're wrong, but they're soothing somehow. And then one of my favorites, because my last one that I have grouped in is somebody I know that you've seen often and you really wish you hadn't. But before we get to that one, you can't forget the ghost. They've seen every night they've been playing every night for 3 years straight, and you still don't know their name. Every time you go, you've seen them, and they just come and go, and you don't even know when they came in and when they left. My final grouping of these types of people is the table therapist, who is the only person that I typically wish they would shut the fuck up the most. I know you've seen
Yep.
those type, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones giving that unsolicited emotional support. Like, you're due, sweetheart. Don't chase it. Trust your gut. He's half Dr. Phil and half degenerate uncle. I'm sure you've seen all these shapes and sizes of people's identities at the table. And I know that we had a prior episode we were talking about identities, but these are more of the regular people you see at maybe your local. And we do go
Yep.
to AC enough so we know we've seen the same people over and over and over again, and they don't play any different, right? They have the same mannerisms, they have the same quirks, and if they're a long-time loser, they're going to lose again.
Yep. Yep.
It's no
It's so
turning around
true.
their world. It's no turning around their world.
No, you're not gonna turn it around. It's funny. I have so all of yours I have on my list. I do have a couple more. For the one that the you call what did you call them? The person who knows all the dealers' names and their kids' names and all that kind of stuff.
That's that one I said was the mayor of Crapstown.
The mayor of Crabstown. So I called them the social butterfly. That's what I called them because they're always there talking. They know dealers, they know the drink girls, they know everybody.
Everybody.
And I don't know if they're there to play half the time. They're just there to socialize. It could be, who knows? But they're there all the time. Obviously, you brought it up. I called them the table's unofficial coach, the one who's always telling you what you're doing wrong, the mistakes, what they would do. Nobody cares. So not going to go too much into those since you already touched on them, but I did have a couple extra ones, and we'll see
Nice.
if you agree with these ones. So have another one, and this is more of a poker term, but I'm going to lump it into craps anyway. I called them the grinder. They're there all the time. They have their very specific bankroll. They play the same way every single time. Super disciplined. They're patient, sort of like methodical when they're playing.
Yeah.
Don't care what anybody's doing. They could care less. They sit in the same spot all the time, basically. And they're not there to like hit it big one night. But if they play, for many days in a row or multiple sessions in a week, they hope to come out on top. You've seen those at the casino. They just they always play the exact same way. They always do the exact same stuff. I called them the grinders.
I don't know if you'd want to put some of our AC crew into the grinder because they do really play the exact same way every single
Mm-hmm.
time we go. And it's not like it's not like they're losing every time. They do win often. It's just that they do not veer off of their play. Like it's almost like they found their niche or however you say it, niche of how they want to play craps.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to divert them. There's nothing you can say to make them bet differently. There's nothing different you can tell them to make them put more on a bet or something. If you're seeing a pattern, they don't give a shit about what you're seeing as a pattern. Like they have their own standards, they have their own way of playing, and there's just no changing them. And it
Yep.
does, and again, it does not mean that they are a losing player. We've seen
No.
them win plenty. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
that they play a certain way, all the time. I'm not enough. I would say I'm not experienced enough to say that I do that. I'm trying to find out how I want to play going forward, no matter what. And then really it's going to come down to, is it my day or is it my session or not my session? And if it's not my session, I need to learn the discipline to say, okay, I'm going to stop because it's not my session. But when it is my session, I know exactly where I'm going, exactly how I'm progressing my bets and how I'm going to play. And
Mm-hmm.
and when things are happening, I'm going to make some damn good money.
Yep.
Plus, I still have to learn how to walk away when I'm up,
Yeah. Yep. That's an important piece.
Would you lump
Yeah,
yourself
no,
into that? Because you tend to play a certain way.
I do. I would like now here's the thing, right? I think a lot of players that you and I both know or that we play with regularly, I feel like we can kind of straddle across a couple of these, personalities of sorts. Because I think in order for you to have like one of these personalities be almost your identity, you do have to be a regular and play a lot.
Yeah.
So like I would say that I probably could identify as a grinder. I'm probably more like the mayor, or the social butterfly, to be honest with you. Like I have my ways of playing. They're not the same all the time, but I'm also pretty chatty when I go to the tables. Like I do know the dealers on a first name basis. I know their kids, or like I know their kids' names at least, having a conversation, all that kind of stuff. So I would say I probably straddle those two. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing saying that like you can only be, in one lane. You can, go across a couple different ones and whatnot. But yeah, I would say I probably straddle those two. If I had to lean one way, it would probably be leaning more the social butterfly route. But like social butterfly with a grinder's play style, I guess is how I would identify it.
Would you say the next time you come by the table, you're going to hand me a button that says "Vote for DJ"?
Maybe. I mean, who knows? I might be running for office. Funny enough that you brought this up. Last time I was at the casino, there was a guy there who was running for office. He had like a vest on, like a penny, like a those old jerseys you used to wear when you played sports in high school.
Yeah.
And it literally said like "vote for something" on the back, and it was literally like his friend was running for office like in the county, so he was just wearing that like everywhere he went. It was interesting.
But it's interesting because I think we do know more than a handful of people and how they each play.
Oh
And
yeah.
one of the people we know presses like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And not that they always start their bets off with, table minimum. They almost certainly don't most times, but they are pressing like a machine. Like whatever it is it takes you, however long it takes you to get to 300 on an 8, they're there in 2 rolls. Like,
Yeah.
and they just when they say go for the moon, that's usually meant for people when they're out of the hand. This guy's not out of the hand when he starts pressing for the moon. He just presses for the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And, he takes big losses sometimes, but he wins a good bit because he's getting raked in good cash when other people are winning, collecting 21 on an $18 8.
Yep. Definitely. Definitely. And then a couple other ones I had. I called them the adrenaline junkies. Even though most of these people you would view as not a regular, but they play, every once in a while. But I think you and I both know some regulars who play like adrenaline junkies. And what do I mean by that? They can't sit still. They need something going on at all times on the table, whether it be center action, hot bets, whatever it is. They always have something going on, a bunch of decisions to make. The adrenaline junkie. They're always hunting and for that adrenaline. And it's funny to me because, like, I feel like this is a really bad way to be a kind of regular at the tables. But I mean, I can't tell you how many times I go to Atlantic City during a multiplier or just not during a multiplier, and I see the same people doing the same shit constantly.
We've seen, I would say that you're talking about people they're really betting chaotically. Like you
Yep.
said, they have to have if they're not playing every roll, they're not happy. Like literally betting. And I wish that they probably wish that they could be the last person to place a bet before every dice they're
Mm-hmm.
thrown. Like they're the last hand in the field. They're the last person to ask for a hop bet. They're the last person to ask to press up their hard way. And it's
Yep.
like, they definitely are the eye roller people. Like you're always rolling. They're like, geez, not again. But I have to, there's a subgroup that I have to put in here too, and I gotta call them the the craps players, and they're the people that show up with the chips in their hand, and it's no more than
Yeah.
like $67 in chips,
Uh-huh.
and they're just throwing out like $5 this, $5 that, and they put like 15 on a number. It's never a number that has rolled at all.
Yeah.
Uh, they just have a feeling, and it never pans out. But they're always cupping their chips because they're never going to have more than 100 in their hand ever.
Yep. You know what's funny? So I want to make I don't know if it's a decree or I want to make like an ask to the craps community
The
almost.
follow the FSC credo.
Yeah. No, listen. So you know how everybody calls like people who just pick the dice up and chuck them chicken feeders?
Yeah.
The people who stand with their chips in their hand, just hucking bets out, they're the chicken feeders. Like, yeah, I know people are sitting here, chucking the dice, like they could be called chicken feeders, but like, I feel like it's more apropos for the people who are sitting there with the chips in their hand, leaning on the rail, just like it looks like they're playing like frisbee or something over here, just like saucer and chips in all over the place. I want them called the chicken feeders and come up with a new name for the people who just randomly chuck the dice because people who are standing there are chicken feeders and the dice throwers or whatever else. They're not chicken feeders though.
If they're not chicken feeders, then what you're talking about are pigeon feeders. They're just feeding them the seeds at the park on the park bench,
Yeah.
and they're
All
just
right.
they're having
Then
them all group around.
all right. So then here, okay. We'll call the dice throwers the chicken feeders, and then the pigeon feeders are the ones who have their chips in their hands and they're just chucking them around. It's like they're sitting in Central Park over here. Just you get a chip and you get a chip and you get a chip.
I've literally seen a guy talk to a stick man like, "Give me a 12, and give me a C, and give me 10 on the hard 10, and throw this extra dollar on ace deuce."
There you go.
But it's like
They're
every
the
roll they're
pigeon
doing that.
feeders.
You're right. They're just flicking it.
It's
Oh
it's
my
it's
God.
uncanny. And like, what's funny? When I first started playing, I feel like I didn't really notice that kind of stuff. Now when I see that at the table, like all I can think of is they're standing at a fence at a farm just feeding. Like that's what they look like to me. So I guess that's a new merch idea. We're gonna have to have a pigeon feeder shirt.
Definitely when you walk up to the table, like you're not just joining the game, you're entering that world and their world. And are there any other archetypes that we've seen at the table that maybe we haven't talked about? I would call there's a group of steady eddies, and they're definitely just
Yeah.
pass line with odds players. They come
Yep.
in, they do their pass line, they do their odds, but normally they're not. They definitely are not afraid to bet, and they usually bet literally if it's 5 times table, they're betting 5 times. If it's 3, 4, 5 times, they're doing 3, 4, 5 times.
Yep.
But they're always they kind of keep to the pass line and the odds, and they're like, screw the box numbers. We're not really interested in the box numbers. We might do this the sister to whatever the point is, but
Yeah.
that's like max like that they'll play.
Yeah.
The steady eddies, I think they're the
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I only had one other one on my list, which is the comp hunter is what I called them. They're sitting there just hunting for comps. They ask the pit balls every 5 minutes what they're rated at. They're constantly making bets like, does this increase my action? That's all they care about is what are they getting rated and how much are they getting rated for what they have on the table. Then they're the ones who are going to argue, well, I got $100 of action going on. Sir, you're 66 inside. Yeah, but I press it after a little bit, or I got this going. They're always, always, always concerned about what their comp is and how much money could they potentially be getting back in comps.
It's where the dealers are chiming in every once in a while, and they're like, "Sir, the pit boss will go over that with you at the end of the session."
Yeah.
Like you're holding up the game. Stop holding up the game.
How many tier credits you got me in for right now? I don't know, man. You've been here for 10 minutes. Like one.
You've played the
Like,
prop section only, sir. Like, sorry.
Yeah, literally. No, it kills me because we see it in Atlantic City a lot. And when I was thinking of this, there's a guy at the local who is constantly asking. Now, he's probably more, he thinks he's the mayor of the craps table, but he's like the annoying neighbor that, you just wish would never come out of their house. Like, that's who that guy is.
Yeah.
And he's always asking, like, what do you have me rated at? What do you have me rated at? It's like, dude, the shooters throw 3 horns in a row. You haven't changed your bets. Your rating has not changed.
There's one more I'm thinking of now. And it's and I'm trying to figure out how to word it, because every table, especially during multipliers, you especially see it in Vegas too. It's the rewards table bet people. All they do is put down fucking tickets on the pass line. And it's like they have 12 tickets to spend,
Yeah.
and that's all they're playing. And then if they eventually win anything off of it, they may play a little bit more, but all they do is they got their stack of fucking tickets and they're just doing one ticket, like ticket loss 7 rolls, ticket come out 7, they win, or ticket 12, like they just lost the pass line. Like, but it's like, how the hell do you have 12 tickets? Like, I thought there was a minimum that it would spit out for you, but it's like literally maybe they haven't been to the kiosk in a while, so they've got just a
Maybe.
handful of tickets to play. So
Yeah. And that's all they ever buy in for is the tickets.
right.
Like, there's
Right.
there's no actual money. Now, I will tell you, in Atlantic City, you can do that. In my local, you can't do that.
Oh, really?
My local, yeah, the free bet, or like those
Free
vouchers
bet.
that
God,
you
I
would
couldn't
get,
think of it.
it's you have to match the bet. So like if you get a $10 like match bet,
Yeah.
you have to put $10, like $10 in chips on top of that. So your bet's actually $20. Now I will say the one benefit to that is they actually pay you as if you put $20 down. So
Right.
like it's not like you get your 10 plus, a 10 and then another 10. No, like they will actually put the money there like you had it there and then pay you. So you do get paid a little bit better with that kind of bet, at least at my local. But yeah, the free bet people they're wild. I would lump them into to the comp hunters sometimes, but they can also be their own personality.
I was going to say that. I was also going to call them the paper pushers.
There you go. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. They're always looking for something, those people, or they just looking to bet what the casino gave them, and then wonder why they're not getting rated.
It's a chaotic world, man. We're just living in it.
Yeah. Also, I don't know. Have you ever noticed those people who are only doing the ticket sometimes? They play like one, and then they just sit at the table for like 5 straight shooters and don't place another bet. And then like another ticket comes out and it's only on the pass line. And then it's just like they just let that go. But I've seen people sit at the table with like 5 of those like direct bet tickets for like an hour and a half because they're just sitting there, and then like they'll let it go around the table, and then like randomly it's just, oh, this person, let's put a bet on them.
I was going to say cheerleader, but you don't really get a lot of cheerleader unless something's happening on the table. You don't really get the person
Yeah,
who's trying to get the table started,
no, and they're usually not regulars because like I feel like the regulars a lot of the time, like they're either like somewhat social but not really, or they're just like very crotchety, leave me alone and don't talk to me.
Right. No, you're right. You're right. But but those strangers at the table, Chris, we can all become a team, especially when the
Oh yeah.
table has a heater. During a heater,
Mm-hmm.
and when the table heats up and gets warm and it starts to get chaotic, but it gets cinematic too. And we get a bunch of people that you don't know their name. By the end of the session, you still don't know their name. You don't know where they're from, but you all became friends quick because you just had a 30 plus, 40 plus roller. Um,
Oh yeah.
Definitely an instant bond of brotherhood effect. I mean, Chris, when people who didn't know each other 5 minutes ago are suddenly high fiving each other, like they were just selected as the audience members on The Price is Right, you know, you're in for a good time.
You are. That visual is so funny. The Price is Right one. That's hilarious. Yeah, no, it's definitely true. Like you can form some good bonds. But yeah, like strangers become best friends basically. And why? Well, you're all pulling for the same thing typically, right? And on a
Yeah.
heater, you just hope it keeps going, but you share that, sense of hope and celebration, suspense, all that kind of stuff. So people get pretty friendly pretty quickly, and that's where you get that more cheerleader mentality from it.
Right.
But you do make some, I want to say, interesting uh bonds and connections at the table, because like I know you and I have both been part of some decent roles, and sometimes I wish people would just stay in their lane and stay over there, not come near me.
They're the
But
ones that have to
other
be
times
hands
I'm
like,
like,
don't be handsy. Don't be
yeah, don't
grabbing
be
my
handsy.
shoulders, telling me, oh yeah, that was great, man. Keep it going, keep it going. Like just stay in your lane, look at your rack, do your own betting, stay away from my
Yeah,
bets.
yeah, and like, don't touch me when I'm shooting, or don't touch the shooter. Like, cause I don't know. I had it happen to me once, where I was shooting, I was on a decent roll, and like I hit a point, and guy comes over to me and like wants to high five the shit out of my hand, and like, so side note, if anybody ever sees me at the craps table and I am shooting and you want to say hello to me, you get a fist bump. I never do anything else. It's always a fist bump, because if I have to shake your hand, my right hand. If you're gonna
Right.
high five me, it's my right hand. Don't touch this hand.
Right. It's
That's
gold.
what I'm shooting with, right? So like, I don't want to like, I don't know where your hands have been. Not like it's not a germ thing for anyone at home who thinks it's a germ thing. It's not. But like, some people are, let's say, a little bit more clammy than others. So like, I don't need I don't need the transfer onto my hands, right? Like my hands are probably sweaty enough as it is. I don't need your sweat coming to my hands. I don't need you to high five the shit out of my hand and turn my hand completely red.
Yeah.
But I did have a guy who did that once to me, where he came over to high five me, and I was like, I literally put my left hand out for a fist bump, and he was like, "No, high five," and I'm like, "No, fist bump." And then he was like, "High five," and I was like, "All right, fine, my left hand, high five." And like, I was like, "Dude," and then I went up to him afterwards, and I was like, "Not that I didn't want to give you a high five, it's just I didn't want you to affect my hand in any way, because I have been hit hard enough on the hand that like it kind of like tingles your hand. You ever get that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have a problem with my right index finger. I had a knife slip one time on my finger, and I came very close to cutting like a vein in my finger, and I cut like a whole layer of skin off. So it's very sensitive in one spot, where like if you hit it hard enough, my finger goes numb for a little bit. So like I can't have you hitting that, because then I'm gonna like lose my index finger. Not that I need it for throwing, but like it tingles and feels weird, and I don't want to deal with it.
Well, have you ever had I would say this is like, I would say borderline creepy. I know it wasn't the guy's intention, but when I'm shooting from stick left, that I always put my left hand down, and that I never move it. I
Mhm.
always keep my left hand to the left of my rack when I'm
Yep.
shooting, and it's
Hmm.
more of a superstition thing. But I had a guy after I'd made like 3 or 4 points. He put his hand on my. He's like, "Nice shooting." And I'm like, like don't touch me, man. This is my hand. You know I can't move it.
Yep.
So it's
It's like, hey, dude, take you out to dinner first. What the heck?
but the superstitions, I mean, they're part of this group too, the strangers, because they all nobody wants, nobody wants the seven. Obviously, they're all like, "Don't say seven, don't say seven, don't change the dice." And of course, you always get like the person who's got to say, "Why did you change sets?" Like you have
Yep.
no idea why I changed sets. You don't know me. You've never seen me throw before. People that know me aren't questioning me. Like, shut up. But it's
Yeah.
like there is a camaraderie when there's a heater and when the table
Oh yeah.
gets really hot. It's really uncanny, but it's a cool experience. It's probably one of the things that drew us to craps, because when they always talk about craps table and all the roars that you hear that are coming from the craps tables, that's what's happening. All of us are
Yeah.
invested into that hot roll or a table that's going really well, just consecutive shooters maybe, and consecutive, medium to long rolls per shooter, where there's been like no PSOs in like over an hour. And it's
Yeah.
just been a really nice heated table for a while. And there's definitely emotional support all around, even from strangers at the table too. You start rooting for the guy next to you. You don't know his name. You don't know anybody's name, but you know their energy. And
Yep.
we've always said positive energy carries through an entire group of people. You could have a guy
It
who was
does.
hesitant, and we talked about the timid player. He could have been at the end and been maybe the last person to get the dice. But by the time he gets the dice, he's in a better mood. He's in a better stance. He's won some money back. He might be in profit at that point, and it's all because the camaraderie that happened during the rolls, and going around the table, had changed the atmosphere to positivity, which is
Yep.
what we always want at the table, is positive energy. We talk about it, even most times when we're around the table. And we know when a table is totally negative and just like shit. I don't even think we should be playing here anymore. Like, but this is different. This is how strangers become pseudo friends for a couple of hours, maybe even
Yeah.
3 hours if it's a really nice session.
Yeah. It's like that community aspect almost.
Right,
Like the community around the table, because like everything is going well, so people are, a lot happier when things are going well, obviously. But you mentioned it, right? That's kind of what draws people into craps, and I think it's very true, because there's not many other games in a casino that you're going to have a bunch of people rooting for you for the same thing, right? Like, yes, table wins in blackjack are great, right? But you get like maybe a high five or fist bump or whatever, and that is what it is. It's not, something crazy because next hand's coming out and it's a different hand, right? But in craps, like on a heater like that, everybody should be making money, right?
right.
And everybody's looking for the roll to continue, and that hope, and the shared sense of winning and all that kind of stuff. Like blackjack's the only game probably that even has something remotely close to that, and it's not even in the same stratosphere, to be honest. But like if you think about other games like slots, I mean, there's no sense of community there really. It's
Right,
you a screen and you're smacking the shit out of the button, right? It's baccarat, like it's you and the dealer. Same thing like roulette, unless you're betting on the same number, then
right.
like, there's nothing really going on. But I mean, like there's so many bets on a roulette table that, what are you like, what are the chances you're betting the same number that somebody else is betting? Like those types of feelings per se don't exist in any other game other than craps.
But you're right, and you made some really valid points about like there's that sensation of winning, right? And then you made the point about blackjack being a close second to that kind of camaraderie around the craps table. I'll be honest, the only time I've had that kind of camaraderie at a blackjack table is when half the table's been like a whole family, where like the mother, father, daughter, son are
Mm-hmm.
all playing, and so they're celebrating everybody's win no matter what, and
Yeah.
then we kind of get into it too. That kind of happened at I think it was I want to say it was Tropicana. It was either Tropicana or Harrah's. It might have been Harrah's. You had come by, you weren't playing, but I was playing, and I was actually sitting with a family of four. um
Mm-hmm.
and it's just, besides the dealer being awesome, it was just great camaraderie with a family I had no idea by the end of the session, I was joking that, well, maybe I should just be part of your family. But it was like we were all winning, and it was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
really
yeah.
fun. But when you're talking about the craps table, it's like heaters and hot rolls really turn strangers into teammates, teammates into believers, right? And
Yep.
then believers into storytellers, because everybody's going to walk away from that session with a story to tell about what happened. But
Mm-hmm.
of course, eventually there is a collapse. The heater ends.
Yeah.
The table breaks apart like the end of a concert, and everyone drifts
Yep.
away. And knowing that you'll never recreate that exact moment again.
Yep. It's true. It's funny you brought up the family aspect of blackjack. I know it's not craps related, but I had something similar happen to me when me and the wife went to Atlantic City. She was in the room getting ready, and I went downstairs to play blackjack. And I was playing with on a table with four guys who were there for a bachelor party. And we were all doing really well. We're all winning and like making really good calls in terms of like sticky situations.
Right.
Or like, you know, there's the book and all that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna go down a deep blackjack rabbit hole here, but like we were making the right calls all the time on this table. So like, you know, this guy's like, I'm not gonna hit this. I don't feel like hitting it. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, well, I want you to hit it. Like you should be hitting this, but I'm not gonna cause a problem. You know, I was
Right.
playing pretty minimum bets anyway, and he didn't hit it, and boom, like he didn't take the dealer's bus card, dealer busted. It was great. Anyway, played with for like 45 minutes. By the end of it, they invited me to like half the events of the bachelor party.
That's the thing. Like
But
it can
that
get
was
that
cool.
communal. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. It can get that communal that quick. Like you said,
Yep.
like craps. When it's a really good heater and stuff, it could be a couple of hours. But like blackjack, like you said, it could be just 45 minutes because you've
Mm-hmm.
gone through a shoe or maybe two shoes, or you're in the middle of the second shoe or three shoes. Like by that point, because it's such a quick
Yeah.
game.
Well, that and then the other thing with like a game like blackjack, in my opinion, too, is that like yes, people can be winning together, but there's also going to be people winning and people losing, right? So, like, you know, if you and I are playing on a table with three other people, like if you and I win our hand, but the other three people lose their hand, like, and that keeps happening, and there's a lot of like, let's say, just choppiness between who's winning and who's losing, it's just going round and around and around. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard to get that real sense of that community aspect, but like on a craps table, especially when everybody's betting light side, like everybody's kind of winning or could be winning on that roll, as opposed to like blackjack, where you know half the table might be winning, half the table might be losing. Like you don't really have that on a craps table necessarily, unless you're split light dark and you're just banging points.
Right. Now, you're right because when it comes to the come out game, I always feel like half the table loses and half the table wins during that because they're not all playing the prop bets, or they're not all playing
Yep.
hopping reds, or the CNE. They're not doing things to balance their pass line, or if they are playing don't pass, they're you know um, they're making sure that they're hopping reds to compensate for it. But that's where I see, like, after a point's been made and after a point's not a point being established, but after a point's been hit, and it's the come out again, that's when you typically will see the up and down most of the time. But on a heater, like, it's really, and the thing is, you could have, we talk about we want to win all our money in the boxes, right? But then you have people who maybe aren't playing the boxes like we are, and they're winning on the pass line with their odds. And
Mm-hmm.
typically, if I'm on a table, you're not going to see me with a pass line with odds. I usually play just the boxes. So it's like, it's not that I'm losing, but I'm not winning what they're winning when the point hits.
Yep.
Unless you're on a fire bet table, which is different because uh there's a different reason you're doing it. Um,
Yep.
Even when I was doing the 5 point fire bet that I hit, I was doing like minimal odds. Like I didn't really care. I was just playing the pass line because it's a contract and they make you do it if you want to shoot the dice. Like, believe me,
Mm-hmm.
there is no casino that I know of where they'll let you throw the dice and not have a pass line
Nope. Doesn't exist.
now. But hey, tons of regulars we see at the table, tons of strangers we see all the time, every day when we go. Uh, but it can be really fun. That's why this game is so intriguing to me, because when it's good, it is damn fun. And when it's
Yeah.
not,
Oh yeah.
at least you're with other people that they're not having a good time either. So
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
communal that way.
I guess you bond over the shit session that you're having.
Yeah, yeah. You have that burger together where you both sat through 5 PSOs and you're like, oh Jesus,
Yep. Oh yeah. No, it's cool though. The different, regulars, the different feelings of camaraderie and stuff. The different friendships you forge by being at the table together, all that kind of stuff. It's definitely cool to see, cool to experience. And I think that's probably why we like the game so much, Craig. But we talked about the regulars. We talked about becoming friends with strangers. But Craig, sometimes there's another aspect that pulls of sorts at the tables.
You mean something where like there might be currents, magnetic pull, something to the effect
Little undertow or something.
undertow, along a neap tide, if you will,
Neap tide. Rip current.
ripped current. I love that.
Here we
That
go,
would.
Craig. Back to our meteorologist bullshit.
I think I know what you're talking about, and you might be talking about the top 5.
I think I am talking about our top 5. And our top 5 today, Craig, is the top 5 hidden currents that control a craps table. And for the folks at home, no, it's not a magnet underneath the table that they're sitting so they flip the dice to roll 7s. It's not a thing.
No, no. But it might be on par with the forecaster persona that you talked about, because these are the invisible forces that shape the night. These are the psychological weather patterns. These currents are always there. You just have to learn to feel them. All right.
Yes. All right, Craig, give us your number 5.
All right. My number 5. The table has an emotional weather storm. Here we go again with the forecast and bullshit. Every table has a vibe forecast. You either surf it or you get swallowed by it.
There's great meteorological terms in there too. That was awesome. My number 5 is the storytelling current. Craps players don't just play the table; they narrate it, and then they start betting or making up a story that occurred on that table. You'll always hear what happened, what could have happened, but you don't know. Is it story? Is it fact? Is it fiction?
It's funny. I thought you were going to say they say this, they tell you the story, but you never actually know if the story's true.
Never do. You never do. It's like one of those like whisper down the lane things,
Right. The
where
grapevine
like,
effect.
yeah, and like if I ask somebody how the table is or what's going on, like I hear something from somebody, and then I hear like the complete opposite almost from somebody else, and then somebody else has different opinion. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Like
With that,
this guy just told me there was the 30 roller. This guy told me 5 straight PSOs, and then I go back to the 30 roller guy, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that happened like 4 hours ago." I'm like, dude, that was yesterday. Why do I care about that?
would that be like the person who thought he had a 62 roller when it was really a 26? Maybe he was dyslexic. It was a 26
Maybe.
roller.
It was a 26 roller. Yes. Yes. The shooter is here, though.
Just finish your drink.
Yep. Where's the top 5?
All right. My number 4, the dealer's micro reactions. The eyebrow twitch, the sigh, the good luck that sounds like a warning. Good luck.
There you go. My number 4 is the rhythm current. Every table's got a pace, tempo, flow, emotions, timing. You never know. Is it a choppy table? Is it a hot table? Is it a cold table? Sometimes you got to find out. But sometimes craps tables feel like smooth jazz. Other times, it feels like a traffic jam with chips.
I can't believe that out of this whole list, we have a similar. My number 3, the stick person's rhythm spell. Their cadence sets the heartbeat. A good stick can resurrect a dead table.
Yeah. Of course, we're gonna have some. I feel like we haven't had a lot of overlap recently.
Yeah, I think
We've
you're
been
right.
we've been kind of drifting from the overlap. Some, I guess, to be fair, some lists are harder to overlap. Some lists it's
Yes.
kind of hard to avoid the overlaps. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, my number 3 is the ego and identity current. You got a lot of different egos at the table. You got the smart player, the big better, the disciplined player, I'm the shooter people want, and I should be having the dice all the time. I know the game best of all. When it comes down to it, at the craps table, people don't defend their bankroll. They defend the story they tell about themselves.
My number 2, the rail psychologists. The peanut gallery that thinks they're helping but are actually narrating your downfall. I went
Yeah.
really simple this one. Yeah.
There you go. My number 2 is the emotional contagion. Mood spreads quick at a craps table. Hot rolls, good moods. Cold tables, bad moods. The craps tables don't just run on dice, Craig. Cue the weatherman terms. They run on emotional weather.
There you go. There you go. Where's your Doppler effect? Get your 5 sweeps
Yeah.
on your Doppler.
get my radars flowing everywhere. The mood radars.
There you go. All
You
right.
need, to, you
Mine.
need to give people mood rings at the table so I can
Oh
see
my
how
God.
they're feeling.
You see the guy at the end of the table, he's got the blue one. He's like, his rail's like, not really. He's got red and white chips only. He's trying to
Yeah.
survive the night, right? Oh man.
Mm.
All right. My number 1, the come out rule identity crisis. This is where players decide who they're going to be tonight. Disciplined, hopeful, or unhinged. I think they all go the latter.
Yeah, a lot of the time. A lot of the time. My number 1 is the shared fate current at the craps table. We just talked about it not too long ago, right? Everybody's usually riding the same role or looking for the same sort of results. So unlike most other games where you're playing alone, craps, you're more often than not sweating the same role that everybody around you is. And sometimes you can be in unison in your heartbeats, wondering what's going to happen next.
Yes. Yes. That
This is
is
a
how
good top
it
5
goes.
list. The currents, I guess it depends on the moon phase too, which current we will find ourselves in. But
100%.
overall, good top 5 list. Good episode, but we're not done yet. Craig, we have to give them the tip of the episode. So
We do have to
what
give
is
the
our
tip
tip
of
of
the
the episode?
episode. All right. Our tip of the episode is don't let the room make your bets. This is your anchor, your thesis, your sermon. Casinos are engineered to make you feel like you're part of a wave. Another forecasting. But waves don't care if you drown. Also, we know waves have high points and low points. Before you throw chips out there, pause and check your internal compass. Ask yourself, is this the bet coming from my strategy or from the table's energy trying to drag me into a rabbit hole of betting? If it's the room talking, step back. If it's you talking, bet with intention, not adrenaline. The room has a personality. It has opinions. It has moods, but it does not have your best interests at heart.
Very true. That is very true and very poignant. With especially reacting to some of the different regulars that you may see. You may fall into some of their betting patterns if you see them often enough. Same thing with becoming that team mentality where sometimes you feel like you need to bet differently because the team is betting differently.
Right.
You don't have to. Just stick in your own head, right? Everyone's got to just stick in their own lane, be themselves, and don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't let other people influence how you want to play or how you should play. It's your money. You play how you want to play. Great episode, Craig. Hopefully the folks at home enjoyed our episode today from their 2 favorite weathermen and their 2 favorite forecasters probably in the world, honestly.
Yeah.
At least I think I would say that we are my favorite weather crew, but it is what it is. If you need to speak to your weather crew, you can email us, fullofchipspodcast@gmail.com. Full-length episodes on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Short-form content on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and the Patreon down below. Go join. Maybe you can be in the FOC, FOP, and you could find yourself chatting with us, talking craps, talking casino stories, and just having a grand old time. And maybe you can become an honorary weatherman as well. Craig, maybe that's what we have to call them, the weather crew.
Oh, great.
Who knows? Craig, take us out on episode 49.
All right. And that's going to do it for episode 49. The table reminded us that it has a whole personality of its own where the regulars run the room, but strangers can become a squad of heroes. That full cast of craps table characters discussed definitely includes that damn table therapist, the one person you'd actually pay real money to stop giving you advice. Listen to your gut and don't get seduced by the soundtrack of the room. Chris and I appreciate you rolling, laughing, and outsmarting the felt with us. We'll be back next time, same vibe, same wild ride, and full of chip.
On the